Good evening and welcome to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How you doing on this glorious Sunday? Happy Sunday to everybody out there. Yeah, I haven't done a Sunday show in quite a while, and it was funny because I was thinking about it all day today, and I'm like, I got to do one. And then I was speaking with Tom, and Thomas from True Reporting is going to come on later. He'll probably come on in about 15, 20 minutes. So I dropped the links in the chat. If you want to call in and say and ask Tom a question, you can. I dropped them there. I guess I missed some call-ins on Friday, and people let me know, so I apologize for that. So if you want to call in, we'll make that up for on Friday in some way. Yeah, Blue Viking, what's up? Good Sunday to you. Good evening, everybody out there. What's up on Rumble? How you doing, Rudy Poo? Rise on 9300. What's going on over here on YouTube? Yes, we are on YouTube, so you can subscribe, you can share. You can like. If you want to help us out, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/wearerise to support the platform. You know what to do over here on Rumble with the Gold Pill Challenge. You can help out supporting the platform in any way. And same thing over here on Rumble. Let's say hello to Wood USA. Thank you, sir, for the 217 Gold Pills. Good to see you. What's up, Miss Darla L? How you doing? What's going on? Sausage Launcher. Trump won. Good evening. Look at all the people here today. Yes, I know it's Sunday. Everybody's going to slowly matriculate in some way, somehow, and stuff. So, and then Tom will probably come on about the top of the hour, maybe 15 minutes to the hour and stuff. Again, I dropped the chat, so if you do want to call in and ask him a question, that's great. I want to get to a couple of things, and the reason I'm doing tonight's show because hence the name Sunday Soundbites, the fake and gay apocalypse. Yes, when Kayfabe dies and shitposts rule, you got the media on blast. Brendan Carr calling out the media. You have a lot of different narratives and perception management that's being thrown out all over the place on X. And, I have some thoughts about a lot of these different things because I'm not going to take a position one way or another. I'm all in on Trump. I'm fine about this war. I am conflicted like a lot of other people. I think there are manageable questions we need to get to. But ultimately, if you trust Trump, his team, and whatever you think about everything that is taking place, I would say take great comfort in the fact is this is not a George Walker Bush administration or Herbert Walker or Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. And forget about those people and how corrupt they were and what they did to our country. I think we forget about this as we navigate through these uncharted waters. And, what I see coming, what happened in Venezuela, they just raised an American flag at the embassy. I mean, come on. How about Cuba? Cuba's about to fall. We're about to do something that hasn't done in 67 years, and things are changing so fast and drastically, and everybody's caught up on this conflict, Iran war. I don't even know what the hell you call it. I mean, I think it's just settled noise at this moment, and all the signals that are popping up all over the place because of the Strait of Hormuz and all the people, all the alarmists freaking out about the oil. And then for the media right now to suggest in some way that this team wasn't planned, they had no plan in place and stuff. And I just, we have to level the playing field, especially with the media. Brendan Carr has come out, FCC, letting them know their licenses are on the line. Report fairly and honestly. We don't want your pom-pom. We don't want you to cheerlead. We want you to be honest brokers. I don't know why we can't have honest brokers everywhere, especially what's going on. We'll all talk about Tucker Carlson and all that hullabaloo. But let me just say this. It's not even about the war in your mind anymore. I don't think so. I think that focus has shifted to what you say, how you say it, what it means, and to whom it is directed toward. I think the perception management, this constant communication that strategically processes the shaping of how individuals, organizations, and brands are being viewed to build image, reputation, or so-called perceived reality. I think that's what the game is, especially what we're seeing right now on X. I think the problem is you have the agit-propateers or agit-propagandists, Candace, Megan, Tucker, Sean Ryan, Hodge Twinks, and, Ian Carroll and a bunch of other people that are distracting, that are causing some type of diversion in some way. And then there are other people that provide you different commentary. You have the Trust Me MAGA bros, the blind loyalists who've been to the White House. Trust me, I know more because I have access and secured comms. Okay. Then you got trust the plan people, the Q peeps. It's all in the post. It's already done. Move along, nothing to see. Don't make me whip out my decoder ring. Those are the trust the plan people. Then you have the people who say anything critical or critical thinking, bad. Trust Trump or you're a panikin, a traitor. Silence is obedience. Is that the name of the game now? Or you'll be canceled. These are my thoughts that I've been, pondering and stuff like that, because I understand people have apprehension, trepidation, confusion, angst, unease, anxiety about what they're seeing, especially with this war, because we're not sending my kids here. Well, I don't want them to die in this and stuff. I don't want your kids to die in a war either. I don't think anybody does. Everybody's just tired of the drawn out scenarios in some way. But this is different. This is different. This is totally different. This has gone unchecked for years in some way. You're not seeing a ground incursion in there. There's no 100,000, 200,000 troops storming the beaches, right, of this island in some way. And we don't even know what the 2,500 troops are supposed to do there that are going in there to secure the maritime operation on the island, if that's going to be taking place. But that island, that Kag Island or Karg Island, man, that was hit hard. Did anybody see any of that today? That was massively hit, pounded. And Trump was discussing how a lot of their, let's just say, jewels of Iran were on that island. Even the residents, okay, the citizens there were not allowed to go to that island. You had to have special access and privilege. So the question is, what makes that island so special, and why couldn't citizens visit that island? So it tells me there was something more there, and I think the media has also not done its job to really investigate that, cover this up. They've been just putting and executing out thoughts and ideas and versions. They've been hostile. Sometimes I think in some way they've been to the point where unbearable on the way they acted. Like they're bringing back the Iraq war, and we haven't even come close to this. So I think that mostly what I'm saying here, I think people need to be careful on how they maneuver through this timeline in a lot of ways. Be patient. I know that's tough. I think that the proselytization of propaganda, the manipulation, the coercion, the propagating in general has gone so out of control that you don't know which way is up and which way is down. And I think so. It's so much of the activist disinformation on X, the partisan art. But remember, that's only like 10% of the country or the world in general that sees it. I mean, how many people are really on, in some way, on X? I mean, what is the amount of people that you think that are on X? I mean, I would say the majority of people don't, they're still watching boomer stuff, or they're on their iPads or phones and stuff. I mean, depending on the generation gap that you are, but not a lot of people are on X, as you'd like to think. And so even though a battle is fought there's so many other platforms where discussions and talks, where echo chambers are reverberating in and out. I get that. I totally get all that stuff. But I think in some way we have to, guard against, the ideology and thought process of what the First Amendment's about. I'm concerned that certain language and syntax is being taken out of context to use to attack people. Like, when did Christ is King become anti-Semitic? I don't understand that. I still don't understand that. How about this Iran conflict as being in some way drawn out into a narrative that leads to anti-Semitic fear porn tropes that examine the origins of said interrogations and brand many with undeserving and unjustified slanderous attacks? I think that's the problem. But for the NPC class, the conventionalists, the mainstreamers, their questions from the, must be addressed, right? They must be addressed, not just simply asked and answered, not stereotyped, but foundationally red-pilled responsibly. We can't just brush these things off and assume that, hey, look, everybody understands what's going on. Everybody's fit into some narrative in some way that we know that they'll be able to pick up because they're on X or on some platform or something like that. And so they have a minuscule of information. And that information is what? We don't know. What we do know is that the infighting, the dirt slop slinging has gotten way out of control. And let me tell you right now, I just think at this point and stuff, a lot of people need to be patient and be careful because in some way, all of us are facing the critical junction, I think, regarding First Amendment. And I think that being canceled is probably the least of our worries at this time. The least of our worries. I am deeply worried about how our First Amendment is being looked upon and utilized at this moment, especially in a time when we all should have our own questions and independent thoughts. Let's welcome my friend Thomas from True Reporting. What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us tonight. I dropped the link so everybody can, if they want to call in and ask you questions and stuff like that. I'm on YouTube, so I'm letting people know. So what's going on?
Oh, nothing, man. Just had some good steak and was preparing to come on here.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ready
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question because you know what's going on with the Tucker Carlson situation, right? You understand what's going on, what you heard about him and stuff. That
I read his posts
okay,
on
I'll put this
YouTube.
Up. Okay. So there's a whole thing is that Tucker Carlson right now has come out and said that he claims the DOJ will charge him for violating foreign agent law. FARA. CIA reads my text on Iran. Okay. On Saturday night, the Justice Department is preparing to charge him for being unregistered foreign agent, which Carlson said the CIA recommended after reading his text messages leading up to the war in Iran. He suggested some CIA workers could be targeting him because of his views about Israel. I'll stop right there. I just had a whole diatribe of discussions about our vernacular, our syntax, and I was saying before you got on that it's not even about a war in your mind anymore. It's the focus is shifted to what you say, how you say it, what it means, and to whom it is directed toward. And I believe that he's being caught in the crosshairs of this. That's part of it. But the accusation is that that's why Trump brought him in 3 times. And then he went back and he was conveying, apparently, this is what they're saying. We'll get to the rest of it. But I want to hear your thoughts that it says, what is exactly being purported that Tucker did to violate FARA? We just don't know. It's too early. Can one argue that this is the beginning and the end of free speech? Because if you're suggesting in some way that he's talking to counterparts in Iran, texting and stuff, who are these counterparts? All right. What info was exchanged? I'd like to know. Was there a response? And when was this? Was this right after or right before he met with President Trump? So what's your thoughts about this?
I would say that we need to watch him. And I this is a very vague explanation, but it is a thing where when it comes to, well, the CIA is recommending that, what I've said about text messages on war on Iran, that they're going to target him about views about Israel. Well, we can lump in 35, 45 other people, not just him on this.
Right.
So I would just, wait and see what happens. If they do that, under this administration, I mean, it's going to be more of a downward spiral, I would say. That's what I think at this point.
Well,
and this is also coming from Mediaite, which I just saw, which is a left-wing publisher.
Right.
So it's is that really the case? Probably not. It's probably bullshit now.
Well, I saw something from Axios. We have something from
Same
Axios.
Thing.
And yeah, I mean, that's more of middle of the road, but I have some Mediaite discussions and stuff because they are to the left, and I like the counter narrative, their discussions and how they put this out. I mean, the idea that this is matriculating out, the ex-Fox News star did not expect this to go anywhere for several reasons. I'm not an agent. He says, Carlson said, for the first reason, unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics, he did buy a home in Qatar. At least that's what's been reported. I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, never acted in this. And he said another reason. He is not worried because he's never taken money from foreign power. Okay. So, I mean, you'll have to prove that he did. The question is, if he was speaking to someone in Iran, who was he speaking to? All right. And what was being conveyed? I mean, I think the idea that we're talking about this now and the agitprop that's going around suggesting that he is, it also leads me to the fear and porn tropes about Israel. And I think there is a part and parcel connection to this because he's been, fastidious about pushing back about the narrative. I mean, he called out the administration, which I thought he was wrong about betraying the people of America, President Trump betraying the people of America for this war in some way. And I think that was a line he didn't need to cross. But again, is this all theatrics? I mean, are we just building up the narrative in some way? I mean, is he playing a role? Is this really real?
We can only assume at this point. I hate to give you such a lackluster reply, but it's just kind of like, he has, let's just say, he's interviewed everyone on every spectrum, whether it's Dave Smith, whether it's Candace Owens, whether it's Tim Dillon, whether it's yada yada yada. He's Fuentes, he's talking to everyone.
Right.
So I just hate to give you a lackluster, response to that. I just don't know until if they go after him. He has such a big following.
Mm-hmm.
And all those people that I just mentioned, Tim Dillon, Dave Smith, Candace Owens, Steven Crowder, et cetera, they do not like Tucker Carlson. But do I like them? Yeah, I think Tim Dillon's funny, but the rest of them, can go, kick rocks. So,
they all push the anti-Israel narrative in some way, or the fear porn narrative of Israel.
So does Dave Smith.
Yeah, I'm saying they all do collectively.
They all,
like Tucker,
except Steven Crowder.
Right.
Will not do that.
No, he doesn't do that. No, I know he doesn't. But, so it turns out Trump, this comes from Oren Barsky, he says that Trump used Tucker Carlson, the Iranian asset, to send misleading messages to the Ayatollahs ahead of the strike. And then Tucker, the traitor that he is, rushed to report everything back to his bosses in Iran. You couldn't script it any better. Checkmate. Now, in some way, I look at this as a comical flip. If you just flip this, it almost looks like sardonic and sarcastic commentary. And that's where I am with this. I mean, I don't know what to perceive anymore because it seems to me that a lot of this is just, it's all bullshit. I mean, in some way. I mean, I think this narrative that
post is insane, and that is so left wing.
Right. That's
on all fronts. Yeah. Dunk on that. That's not even a thing.
Right. But that's why I was saying I put that up there to show you how crazy. I mean, Pork Chop Billy says it's funny how most people are going batshit crazy. They're losing their minds. They are totally losing their minds. That's if you caught the beginning of my show when I was suggesting about all these things, I was talking about a variety of things, which I'll go back over. But here's Tucker's under investigation by the CIA, and I wonder who Tucker was giving information to. Let's listen to this. This is crazy. It's on Newsmax.
Because let's not forget, let's go back a couple months here, Rick. It was during the July 4th weekend this year when we were celebrating our Independence Day, when Tucker Carlson thought it was a good idea to release an interview that he did with the president of Iran. First of all, that in itself is absurd. And second of all, if anyone watched the interview, they would see that Tucker didn't push back at all against the president of Iran. Tucker asked a question about, do you guys really want to kill President Trump and this Iran?
Can we pause?
No,
sure.
We don't really want to kill him. Well,
look at what Newsmax is showing the entire time.
No, I know.
I don't trust Newsmax, and I don't think anybody else out there should as well. I do not.
No.
Newsmax is the new boomer Fox News. That's what that is. In my opinion. My next door neighbor, who is 72 years old, thrives off of Newsmax, loves Tucker Carlson. And I guarantee you he saw this. He just had hip replacement surgery.
Oh shit.
And his second hip replacement. The guy's out yesterday cutting his own grass. It's amazing what they can do. But yeah, this guy was in the military, all these sorts of things, and then I see this, and all that they're showing news. This is propaganda. That what you're showing is just him and Nick Fuentes and this guy in the and almost a halfway Joker outfit commentating this. It's just I don't trust it at all. I think it's
I'm not gonna. I just wanted you to play it and hear it. That they're talking about this, and you're right. They're showing Nick Fuentes there, which is obviously a fear porn trope of Israel. So basically, there you go. That's put in the mind or the back of the mind of you, and so that you can see that and process it in that manner. There's another discussion going around that let me show this. I want to show you this because a lot of people are saying this. Laura Loomer is the one who's come out and said she's outed him and reported him for FARA violations at the Department of Justice. Laura Loomer told people in India, she's in India. I guess she's going to get married there in front of what's that thing? The Taj Mahal. I mean, not the Taj Mahal, whatever that is over there. And then
the shit castle. Yeah.
Yeah. And in India, and she's constantly having phone calls and meetings with President Trump. This is what she says. Loomer claims President Trump relies on her to determine who is loyal and disloyal within the conservative movement. I mean, do you believe that at all? That's some fucking shit. Let's listen.
President.
This week I've spoken to him about 3 times. So often, right? Sometimes I go to DC and I have meetings with him at the White House. Occasionally I speak to him on the phone. Just depends. But I speak to the president quite often.
Speed dial, WhatsApp, messages.
No WhatsApp, no.
What's the conversation like with the president, and especially at this time when there's a war that's on?
Well, look, I consider myself to be a Trump loyalist. And one of the things that makes our friendship and our relationship so unique is that I feel that the president can trust me to always give him advice on who's being loyal and who's being disloyal. And I spent a lot of time as an investigative reporter doing research into people who work in the administration who may be undermining his agenda or undermining the America First agenda. And we talk about a lot of different things, but anytime I speak to the president, it's constructive. I'm giving him information that is going to be beneficial to him, helping him identify bad actors in the country, bad actors in his administration, informing him of people who are bad-mouthing him, and also making him aware of issues pertinent to the base.
Wow. So she's claiming to be an intelligence broker. All right. That's what she claims. And that the information she has with President Trump is it's shared amongst themselves about who she likes to pick and choose. I mean, is she on meds or what? I mean, do you believe it? Do you think she does talk to the president and then she does convey a certain amount of this stuff? Or is this also agitprop and disinformation?
If I've ever heard a Mossad agent, that would be one.
I called her an intelligence broker. All right, because the question is, who is she sharing her secrets with? Okay, to the highest bidder.
Oh yeah, like President Trump doesn't have this we've all heard it over and over again of that he is conveniently covered and safe, and for her to be like, well, yeah, he comes to me to these things. Shut up. There's no way that's even real at all. There's no way. There's no way. By the way, could you imagine even being Indian? Could you even imagine talking to those people? Unbelievable.
Dude, she had to go she deleted all her texts and she was put on blast because someone in the audience was reading all her texts on how she attacked the Indian culture and the people. Yeah. And it was just a whole barrage. And she had to sit there and defend. And of course, that's what she says. I'm trained in how to handle.
It's sure that is 100% Mossad. If I were to hear anything about out of anyone's mouth, that's how you speak about that. No, he's coming to me personally and talking. I spoke to him 3 times a week. He talks to me all the time. Yeah, okay, sure. You may have a giant account on X, but I don't think he's coming to you. I think he's going to his generals and he's going to his staff about these sorts of things. It's not like he's kept in the dark about this. He doesn't have to go towards her by any means. And anybody listening to that, don't you feel the same way? What is chat saying about that?
Yeah,
that's crazy to believe her.
I don't know. I don't know why anybody believes her. I don't know how you can believe her. And she is the one who was being braggadocious. I'm the one
Very
who contacted.
pompous.
Yeah, She's like, yeah, I'm the one who outed him to what do you call it? I wonder if they just sit back and they laugh about all this stuff. You know, I wonder if Trump just laughs about all this stuff and how they fucking nitpick. And she goes after Tucker all the time. That's her like main target. All the, and the
Sure.
question is why? Why is she going after Tucker? Everybody else is like whatever. First it was Candace Owens, and then she's moved off of that. All right, and now it's Tucker Carlson. You notice how that whole thing is just escalating and really getting out of control, calling him a traitor. I mean, saying some really unbelievable things that are unnecessary, maybe excessive, maybe superfluous. I mean, what is she trying to stake her reputation and claim on? What happens if nothing happens and he's not arrested? She's going to look like a fool. But this woman doesn't have a care in the world. She's on fucking a lot of meds, according to Roger Stone and other people like Milo. I mean, they talk about that shit. And so really you have to trust the source. I mean, why is she walking into this in some way? And I think the number one issue is what they all have in common, and what they're pushing back is what I talked to earlier about that, is that this idea about this anti-Semitic fear porn trope that's going around, they're trying to bring him down. And I think that they're trying to really maneuver around the First Amendment and then maneuver around slander and all those other things. They're trying to actually use the law to interpret, to glean, and to activate and say that, well, he's violating FARA, he's making suggestive overtones about anti-Semitism, and it's gotten way out of control. And my fear about this stuff, and it's not even about this, because I don't care about Israel, I don't care about all this stuff. Okay, I am concerned is that when they start chipping away at the First Amendment rights, your First Amendment rights to speak openly and freely, and whether it's deemed hate speech or not, which is covered and protected, I'm concerned that they're going to use this artifice to negate and whittle away about your viability to openly have discourse and push back about whatever you feel about that subject.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and yes, I just really I was looking at the chat just for a moment, and just seeing what everybody was saying about that. Trump one says, "I don't have any concerns with Tucker. She cannot get a gun," is what I heard. Is she on meds? I don't know. Do I trust?
Get a gun? Would you want her with a gun? She'd probably try and kill him.
I don't know, but when it comes to like Milo and all that kind of stuff, it's that's in the same category as Nick Fuentes. Even though they're like at each other's throats all the time, I don't know who to believe and what not to believe. So it is what it is as of right now. So when it comes to Tucker, I'm still on Tucker's side, for sure. As of right now,
and I'm not going to be picked apart. I agree with you. I like Tucker. I was against what he said about President Trump, so I pushed back about that. It's saying but
President Trump also was like, there were two people that said something. I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene and him, and then he was like, he said something very derogatory about Marjorie Taylor Greene. But when his speaking points were about Tucker, it was very just neutral and just being like, I like Tucker. I have no problem with him. He could say what he wants to say. We'll figure out what side he's on. And
he says he's not
the
MAGA.
right side of history.
He's not MAGA.
Yeah. He may not be MAGA. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But what he said about Marjorie Taylor Greene was much worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. And, thank you, Curious Cat, for the cookie. Afternoon. Good evening. Boneless Chicken. What's going on? Thank you for the phone. And Wood USA, thank you for the 217 gold pills. Appreciate it. What's going on? Who else is over here? Rizzo 9300. Good to see everybody over here. Rudy Poo, Pork Chop Billy, MG615. Yeah, I see you guys in the chat. Yeah, you know what to do. So let me ask you a question. I had a show this week, and I was asking, I think we did it on Friday, where either Friday or Wednesday, and I said, with all the terrorist attacks that are taking place, because I want to balance. I want people to think, well, I'm all attacking Israel and it's all me and I hate Israel and the state of Israel and all the all this other nonsense. I mean, have we been so focused, unbalanced, let's just say, on the Israeli argument because of the war and the state of Israel per se, frustration surrounding the gaping hole that, let's just say, that the media doesn't report, which is the Islamists. The Dems push back on the Islamists, the Muslim shit show that permeates throughout the United States and major cities like Dearborn, Michigan, and other places and stuff. I mean, there are plurality of the majority. There is an abundance are terrorists, but not all are terrorists per se. Are we being distracted and diverted away from reflexively and unconsciously focusing on one and rather the other? I mean, because we have issues with both, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't think one is any less than the other. What say you?
Yeah, I would agree that it's even, it can be even keel, but this community is really struggling, which is not a good thing to see. And a lot of people are coming at each other's throats up over a lot of things. So when you mention one thing, when you mention another thing, it's just there is a duality, and it's not of the good kind, and it's sad to witness, brother. It's not a good thing to see at all.
No. You know, we're lucky because we've known each other for a while. We're pretty much aligned about a lot of things. I mean, when I was on your show on Tuesday, I got a lot of pushback from people saying that I was trying to pick a fight with you about some things. And I went back and I actually went back to watch the show. Well, I was going back to watch the show and see, like, what did I say that would make someone feel that way? And I'm like, okay, so maybe we had a little difference or two about something, but I was throwing out suggestions and possibilities, not like I was making exclamations and declarations.
You weren't throwing haymakers, and neither was I.
Yeah.
So what is anybody ever talking about? Like,
you'll know when I throw a haymaker.
They want it to happen.
Right.
Guess what? Between me and Brett, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna happen. But I wanted to get that out there because a lot of people were asking me and stuff like that. I'm like, no, he's coming on the show tonight. But I think getting back to what I was saying, I want to ask you this though, because I was suggesting in some way about how all the language and manipulation of and the coercion of everything has been directed about the strategic communication, the info warfare, the image management, and the public relations on the war. That you have the four types of people. You got the trust me bros, the blind loyalist who's been to the White House. Trust me, I know more than you because I have access and I have secure comms. Then you got the adject props I was saying earlier. Candace, Megan, Tucker, Sean Ryan, Hodge Twinks, Ian Carroll, all that other stuff. Then you got the trust me plan bros. You know, the Q peeps. It's all in the post. It's already done. Move along. Nothing to see here. Don't make me take out my decoder ring. You know, you got those people. Then you have the people that are, you know, who say critical thinking bad, trust Trump or you're a panicking traitor. Silence is your obedience. Play ball or you'll be canceled. I mean, that's the way everything is being categorized and broken down as I see it on X. What say you? I mean, I know in some way that any type of whisper of one thing or another seems to overturn the apple cart and really move people either in one direction or another, and they get frustrated because everything now is being, I think, categorized and separated and delineated into these positions. And I don't want to find myself in any of those roles.
Well, neither do I. So when it comes to these different divisions, I think you mentioned 4 or 5. Could you even imagine yourself, anybody out there from early on in the game, 10 years ago, could you imagine being delegated to a division of what you're supposed to think and say? Could you even imagine doing that? Now listen to what Brett said. There's a division of people on X. There's 5 different
categories. Yeah.
Categories where you've given up, you're staying in, you believe in Q, you don't like Trump, but you're for America. You know, it's so forced to think what you want to think. But what does it all mean? Okay, well, I can tell you that right now. When we're talking about 5 different divisions, what is the key word in that? Division. We're all Americans here. What stop being divided. Whatever opinion you have, and that's fine. I think that's totally okay. Infighting is very liberal. Being divided up is a very liberal mind state. It's a very socialistic mind state, especially when they can group you together. What's more socialistic than that? Where they group you in. Ugh. Can anybody even imagine that? It's gross. Who agrees with me on that? I mean, I am so sick of the division and the infighting and all that kind of stuff. Stop. Why don't you just listen to what people have to say and then they bring you the news and then that's what you take part in? Why does there have to be this old way of fighting? A very low IQ way of being herded and corralled into groups to fight amongst each other. What are you, stupid? You're not. You're smart people. You're on this show. You come to my show. You go to other shows. Other shows might be different. But being corralled like that, like cattle, ugh.
Yeah, I think people are being herded into those types of categories I'm trying to lay out. And I would suggest people to go back. It's okay to critically think. In fact, you were told to critically think. In fact, you should continue to critically think. Question everything.
So true.
You should. The idea is that the post's already done. You don't need to question anything. Move along, or I'll get my decoder ring. That doesn't fly. That doesn't fly then. It doesn't fly now. Okay, people swallowed that in such a way, and maybe some of them correlate to the truth or not. I'm not here to deliberate that or debate that. What I'm saying here is stuff I don't want to be put in a box, okay, in a file folder of this or that or that. And I think, unfortunately, that's what it's become. And there is a push to somehow splinter MAGA in a lot of ways. But I don't think even MAGA knows what MAGA is. I think MAGA, as we were told the Republicans are, a big tent of people with a lot of endless thoughts and opinions. And I think what Laura Loomer has done in some way, I think is disgusting. I think it's ridiculous. And I think it's going to further cause more. I think not just infiltration, it's going to push back. I think in general, you're going to see people more divided and more stoked into this in some way. Now, if the Justice Department doesn't go forward with anything and nothing happens, then she's finished. She's going to get crushed in some way.
I mean, a lot of people finished.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's that is outside of me and you.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
We'll be on top of this. Everybody that's listening, I don't care if you're on YouTube, Rumble, X, Pilled, you're gonna see us on the top.
Yeah.
And you may not know what I'm talking about now, about a lot of things, but me and Brett, a few others the cream rises to the top, and I'm just telling you that.
Exactly.
A lot of people are going to think that.
Yeah, don't feel like you're going to be somehow put in these categories in some way. You are completely different. And you need to show that you are completely different, that you can have this and that, because they are totally dividing us all up, carving us up, and serving us at the dinner table to exploit us. And I think, no, not going to happen. Not
look
for
at
me.
Look at what War Eagle said in the Pill chat. Very funny. I think that's a bit you're doing, and I think that's funny.
War Eagle, let me see. Good dog. What's up? Thank you for the shades. Happy Sunday. Much love, Brett and Thomas. Let me see. Where are you, War Eagle? Look up the old meaning of menace and media. Is that what he was saying?
No. Just scroll down to the bottom of the chat.
War Eagle. Haha, no love here. Not at all. Laugh out loud. Oh, will I be hated if I don't love Badlands? You know what? I have Brian Cates, but we're not going to cover that tonight. That's a good one. That is funny, but for tonight, I am going to table that conversation because I got so many other things I want to. That's a good one, War Eagle. Wow. Oh my God. I can't believe he made me say that. I come out there. Man, I'm gonna get a fucking attacked. Oh man,
No, you're
but
not.
I don't care. I don't care.
No, you're not.
Yeah, but I think it's great. Brian Cates got some interesting stuff today. If you follow his stuff, you can see it on my Telegram. I shared it with Tom and actually other people. Go read that on the We Are Rise free Telegram. You'll see a lot of interesting stuff there. But War Eagle, great job there. Excellent way to whatever. All right, President Trump's personal phone number is being sold on the black market. Now, here's another thing that you think you take. It's like, wait, what? First of all, how does he have his private number, his cell number? He gives it out like it's candy. And the Secret Service don't like this. And now the people who have it are manipulating, using this. So I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know if this is setting this up. As it says here, Mediaite reported it was a security breach. Revealed in some cases, the 47 president is attempting to sell it to CEOs and crypto investors. That's what it's being reported. President Trump's private digits has become a hot commodity, and the White House is receiving reports about a growing market of people trying to nab them on the way or another. Now, if this is true, why don't they just issue him another number? You know, I mean, why? You can get another number all the time and change your number. So why not issue another number? Okay. That could be, blocked, monitored, whatever. I'm sure they have capabilities to shut everything down, but seriously, this doesn't make any sense. The Atlantic's Michael Shearer reported on Saturday, citing two officials, always citing two officials. That's what Dan Scavino said. There's always somebody with a source ready to give a secondary source to a tertiary source that knows somebody that's inside that wants to tell you something. That the president's private phone number is being involved in suspecting horse trading and black market sales among influence brokers. Now, think about it this way. I think that's serious. If you are an influencer or an influence broker, like what they're saying, CEOs and crypto investors, or influencers on X, and you have his number and you're sharing that with other people, you're going to get busted. But I have a feeling right now there's another side to this story, but let me finish. It says they're reportedly offering money for a number of wild journalists are trading the phone numbers off world leaders in baseball card-like exchanges. This is nuts. Trump's number has been offered for sale for deep-pocketed interest-seeking influence. What is unusual about this, the president is so accessible that he is with journalists often nodding with surprise, and then they could simply call the president's private line. One of the officials speaking to The Atlantic said Trump can typically receive 10 calls from the press in 2 hours on his private line. It is literally a call after a call, or reporter call. One of the officials just said, boom, boom, boom. Many of the numbers were reportedly not even saved under names. The number is now so widely circulated among the press that the White House officials have found themselves Googling independent names they never heard before. It's out of control. I mean, I'm not going to go on and continue this. I mean, they received all this information of recently. I mean, this is it is wild. Do you think this is done on purpose? I mean, there has to be a rationale, a reasoning that he's allowing this type of access to continue on while the phone numbers in some way they have to be monitored, whether the NSA, Secret Service, whoever is monitoring them in general are going to keep on top of this. Because if this was a threat in some way, you think that they'd say, hey, look, let's switch the number.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be easy to capture because he uses it's not like Dan Scavino is the one that's dropping his social media. It's President Trump. He's been doing it forever.
Right.
Has he switched phones before? Is it the same phone from back then? I'm sure this happens all the time. And technology is advanced. So probably the capabilities of grabbing this number, taking this number, exploiting this number is much higher than it was, let's say, in 2016. They've gotten, they had the advancements for sure. It's not a good thing, that I can promise you, because you can definitely track phone numbers. You can do these sorts of things. But who's to say what kind of phone President Trump has? Yeah, iPhone, Android, blah blah blah. Does he have a phone that most Americans have? I mean, you have to take that into context as well. I would assume that President Trump does not have that because it would be very easy to hack from the get-go. Who knows what he has? I have no idea. It's not a good thing. It shows vulnerability, and that's the last thing he needs.
Yeah, I mean, look, I see a lot of influencers talk is like big names and say Joe Rogan, you name all the guys, all the big names and stuff. The community, they have his phone number. They say Bill Maher gets phone calls from him. They text with him and stuff. I mean, it's an odd occurrence, but that's how President Trump is in some way. I mean, if you don't see it as a security threat, but then what do you see it that a lot of people are basically what? That are suggesting that this type of horse trading that's going on with CEOs and other people, why would you want to sell this on the dark net? Is it because of the possibility that someone is going to be able to scrub this information when they call? Are they going to be able to track his look? I don't know. I just thought that was an odd thing that they're reporting, and there's no pushback about it. It seems like this is okay, and they're allowing this to go through, and it's not a big deal. And it seems like they're monitoring who the people possibly that are selling this.
Well, good. I mean, then if they're doing that, then consequences will come. What goes around comes around. You know, if you're doing this and you're making money off of it, they do this to the senior community constantly with bank accounts, so on and so forth. So again, I hope they get caught. That's all I could say.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. What's going to happen? I mean, it's just so weird to hear. I wanted to show you this because we were talking about the categories and everything, how people feel in some way. And I know you like Thea Vaughn, so I wanted to play this because I thought I saw this, and this is exactly how I feel. Does anyone else feel this way? And I think there's a lot of people that are going to hear what he has to say that may react in a similar fashion. There could be people that are completely disgusted with the way he feels in some way. I saw some of that reverberating around. But in this case, he's basically talking about how he feels about the war in Israel. And there are many people that are citing this and talking about this realistically. And they're saying this guy is a fool, an adult, and the way he speaks, you should go back to doing drugs. I mean, horrible things and stuff like that. Again, destroying someone's viability to speak freely, discussing subjects of that are considered fear porn tropes of anti-Semitism because of any discussion about the war, Israel, its relation with the United States, or anybody having contact. Listen to this.
But I do have a lot of uncomfort about America's relationship with Israel, the Israeli political leaders. That's what I mean. I believe that group it just feels like a satanic regime. It doesn't seem like, it feels like they just want to cause pain. They just, I mean, they don't even know where all the bodies from Gaza are, and they're already moved on to other places that they are attacking, and that America's associated now with their attacks. And I believe that will come here one day. I don't believe that the Israeli leaders, that they have any intention to stop that. I don't see that they have any care for the American people. It doesn't seem like that. I've never heard that spoken. And I believe that if we don't speak up now, that our children won't have the chance to speak up, either by law or by worse.
And that's what I was saying earlier with my beginning commentary, that when I started the show out, and I wanted you to hear that. And now you're hearing the same type of, let's just say, commentary that's coming from a very big name platform that is also concerned about our viability to speak freely and openly about any subject matter without being categorized or without being called slanderous and disgusting names, because we may disagree or we have a difference of an opinion about something.
And I don't understand our government's relationship with Israel's leaders and with Israel's government. I don't understand it. You know, it feels like there's this war machine, and then our soldiers are put into these spaces, and they're just there to serve an America that they believe in. And it's no knock against them or anything like that. It's just, it just feels like it's causing a lot of pain and fear. And yeah, I don't understand I don't understand Trump's relationship. I don't understand our political, like, why we are so beholden to this government, this Israeli government that just seems to be obsessed with control. And it feels like bloodlust, like they just like, it's not enough. Like after what happened in Gaza, I don't see how there could be any other view. They're making laws now. There are bills being presented where we won't even have a chance to have a voice at some point. There's surveillance infrastructure that's being put into place. There's a lot of things happening right now. And some people are like, well, it's too much for me to get involved in. I understand that. But yeah, I believe that if we don't speak up now, and it may already be too late, but if we don't speak up now, that one day our kids will not be able to. And it's disappointing to me too that a lot of our religious leaders haven't said anything. I don't understand it. And I think this has been going on for a long time. I do not understand Trump's like infatuation with, or like beholding to this government. But they've had, Israeli government's been involved in America for a long time throughout countless political party leaders. So it's nothing new. It just feels very extreme right now, and it feels very scary. That's what it feels like. And I don't understand how our relationship with them is helping America.
What's your thoughts about that? Kind of like the way he posed it, I mean, there's a future portents of disconcerting allegations and bills that are out there to, again, cripple our First Amendment rights. Anything in some way to hamper it, and it's getting worse. I noticed that.
You have to. I talked to a good friend of mine last week. I think I told you about it. I know I told a couple of my friends about it. But I think I mentioned on my channel, I don't know what to think of Israel right now. I really don't. I don't think anybody does. And that's the same thing he said.
Mhm.
But I said this Monday or Tuesday. I don't think anybody understands what that is.
No. I don't think so
At
either.
this point. So all I could say about that clip is I'm in the same box with Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
And I think most Americans who are not swiftly being taken under the rug and being told what to think, but actually have an open mind, really are confused about all of it.
Yep.
With this. And I will end right there. What are your thoughts on Israel, and what do you think about what Theo said?
Yeah, let me know in the chat. I mean, I personally, again, I think there are a lot of things we just don't know. Too many unknowns in some way to point out it's this or that. And again, today's show is the fake and gay apocalypse when Kayfabe dies and shitposts rule. And that's what we're seeing. We're just seeing a media that is just crumbling. They're lie after lie after lie. And we're going to cover the FCC chair is just, has a warning shot at broadcasters. It's coming after their licenses if they're not going to report accurately, fairly, and honestly. And, and so what we have left after that dies of mainstream garbage news is that we have the podcast media. All right. Some are good, some are bad. And then you got what's on X. You know what I'm saying? That's in between the adjunct propagandist, so the proselytizing of the propaganda in general. And so it's all over the place. And I think in some way how things are becoming unyielding. And, there are people pulling their hair out. They can't get control of themselves about this Iran conflict. And I don't know if it's anything to do with this. I was watching another platform that was really just went off the deep end. And I just don't know what happened to them. And it was a really good show. And I'm completely lost about how people are misinterpreting everything. I mean, it's one thing to question and send your thoughts in and stuff, but just to go off so far and say, that's it, it's over. I mean, I don't feel that way in some way. I feel like there is a direction here. And the same people that are controlling Iran controlled Israel. So I think it's two heads of the same coin per se. And maybe personally we're burning both them down. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, look, the central bank collapsed not even a couple of months ago, and no one talked about it. That's why they had the uprisings in December and January and the protests. No one talked about that. We covered that. And next thing you know, it's done. It's finished. And so one way or another, they were going to crash and collapse, and it was the right time to stop this. And I don't know about nukes or missiles or, no one talks about biochemical weapons. We don't know what's on this island of Karg in some way that, tourists and citizens of Iran were not even allowed to go on there. It was so classified, so clandestine. Trump knew. Trump knows exactly what was going on there. And, everybody's freaking out about the oil. We're going to get to $200 a barrel. You're going to have $10 gas. I just, I don't think people even know how gas works. The pricing of gas works either. And when you explain that to a lot of people, it goes over their head as well. And so they just look at my gas. That's going to cost my food to rise because of distribution and traveling and then airlines and then all this other stuff. Everything's just going to cost more. Well, I mean, that's the bottom line. All right. That's the problem. Until we get out of the oil and gas industry, which is not going to be anytime soon. I mean, they're not going to just drop free energy onto the market and crash everything. That would be great. But, we're stuck with this. And whether you like this or not, it's manageable. It's manageable. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think that we can all come to terms on if things go up. I mean, the common man, your blue collar worker, is going to focus on groceries, gas, rent, and that's about all as far as you can go.
Mm-hmm.
And if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. You're just going to be pissed. You're going to be happy. Again, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What the fuck can you do?
Exactly.
What the frick can you do?
You all you can hope is that the short term, is not a long-term thing and that it will drop. It's going to take a while, but I think it'll get there. I don't think it's going to stay like this. I don't believe that at all. I think it might even go down even lower than what it was. So you have to consider that. I mean, there's a possibility things could change drastically with this war. And we just don't know. We cannot predict the future in any way. And I don't plan on doing it. War Eagle, what's up? I saw you making some comments and stuff like that. If you're MAGA, Trump is doing what if worldly spiritual right find the information and power. Yeah, I saw it. Some Patriot drummer. Yeah, this is the We Are Rise show. I thought you were thinking this was Thomas or Red Pill 78. No, it's not. Pork Chop Billy. Next week, Big Mike will be saying Trump calls on him for advice. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I mean, with everything that's going on, it's just odd in some way. The phone number is out. Everybody can pick up the phone and call the president, apparently, and express their views and their concerns and stuff like that. And then you got Laura Loomer's just basically being the gatekeeper of President Trump. And anybody who says anything that's critical and anti-Semitic, of course, off with your head.
Yeah. They just got to change the number. That's all. I mean, but it's just going to be hacked again. I think this is they have this under control.
Yeah, I mean, release the Q phones.
Yeah,
with the Dakota rings.
Earlier.
Can we get the Dakota rings with it? That's funny.
I did not watch Theo. Is that how he regularly speaks? Something is off. His tone sounded off. Theo is funny, not to be taken politically or smart. Yeah, I just believe that you had a lot of people out there, Joe Rogan, Theo, Tim Dillon, Dave Smith. You had a lot of people out there, big names that endorsed him to do this. A lot of streamers that Aiden Ross, others out there, Jake Paul. Jake Paul 2028, folks. Just kidding.
But Aiden Ross went against Trump, or he made comments?
No, I'm
to the
saying all
contrary?
these people
Oh, yeah.
during
Okay.
the election pushed
Oh, yeah.
him, and got him so many votes, and then they're all kind of hightailing it right now.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is
they don't
weird.
like.
Isn't Theo just a comedian? I would not say just a comedian. Definitely an influencer for sure, not just a comedian.
Yeah, I mean, I understand when you're saying War Eagle, not to be taken political or smart. I mean, but I found that his commentary was pretty subdued, and he made some obvious, queries about how he sees this thing. And I think the purpose and the message is to make sure that your free speech is protected, not just today, but into the future. And
Well,
that,
nobody wants to go back to the woke scenario of things. That's
Mhm.
the reason why everybody in 2024 went through what took place with Biden, and we saw all these accounts being taken down. We saw the suppression, and all these comedians, influencers were saying, listen, no, we want to bring back what we were able to talk about. We don't want to be censored anymore. And that's what they were running on. I don't think they were running on, oh, well, President Trump's, gonna do this and that. I think it was more of just like, can we just say what we want to say, which is like how we all feel. And then I think they may have gotten in a little too deep, not understanding what they thought was going to happen, or, basically thinking that this is going to be something extremely magical.
Mhm.
By the way, all these people are millionaires too. So what do they have to worry about?
Yeah.
A common man like everybody else in these chats on Rumble and Pilled, YouTube, X.
You and me, like the rest of us, we're this common man.
That is a thing where we have to worry about this stuff. They necessarily don't. They're still
Yeah.
going to sell out, a 3,000, seat theater.
Mhm.
So over and over and over again. So, you're going to see a lot of people tune into these places. I do as well. And guess what? They're not fans of this administration anymore.
No.
At all.
I know. And that's why I broke down the show earlier to explain the categories that that MAGA is being boxed into. And I don't adhere to that. I don't believe that. I think in some way, even though that's being opined out there and stuff in some way, realistically, I'm not going to put myself or allow myself to be captured in that manner. So many people that are on Pilled, that are on Rumble, that are
a lot of people being captured.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that if you even talk about this Israeli thing, you're part of the problem and stuff. That this whole thing in some way, it's not even about that. It has nothing to do with about that. It's the fact is that our First Amendment rights are slowly being nipped at, cut away, chipped at in some way. If you make disqualifying viewpoints that undercut a certain narrative. That's why I asked Thomas, do you believe in some way we have, let's just say, focused so much on this that we've taken our eyes off the ball of this habitual reaction or unthinking and an unconscious viewpoint about the Islamists and the attacks that just happened this past week, or are those just one-offs? That's what I'm saying. It's that we've gone so far this way, but the point of the discussion, I think Theo Vaughn laid it out, is about free speech. It's about anything about free speech and what falls with it and in it and underneath it. I think ultimately that is the key. I'll give you an example. Here we are right now talking about this. FCC Chair Brandon Carr warning shot at broadcasters amid a barrage of Trump administration complaints about the Iran coverage. Now, Hegseth got a lot of pushback because he was telling them, why don't you be honest brokers here and report fairly, honestly, and decently? And they took it out. It's like, you want us to pom-pom and cheerlead everything out there. And that's the narrative that they ran with. And unfortunately now, the FCC has now come out, which I shouldn't say unfortunately. Fortunately, the FCC, Brandon Carr, threatening pulling licenses of broadcasting, pushing fake news. Well, it's about time. We've been hearing this for over 10 years. I mean, I don't understand why that news hasn't been pulled. I want to see what's going to happen. Now, the idea that Ellison is going to take over with his son, CBS, CNN, HBO, other news organizations are going to change and flip. All right? CNN could just be gone and sold and broken down. I would be fine with that. All right? Buy it and sell it to somebody that could put Trump news media there or put something else on there. I think that's possible. They might consider that. I heard on Friday that some Trump group just purchased TikTok and now is going to have some type of control of that. I don't know that story per se. I was looking into it. I didn't see anything. Marshall was letting me know about it, but I was trying to find anything regarding it because I would have seen it. So in Saturday, this X post, vocal critic of the media, included true social message from Trump complaining about the misleading coverage on Iran. Yet again, an intentionally misleading headline by the fake news media about 5 tanker planes that were supposedly struck down in an airport in Saudi Arabia and no further use. I covered the idea that there's so much images of AI fake images that are on there about this war that did not come to fruition, did not happen whatsoever. And yet they were propagated out on X all the time to what? Suggest the narrative and then to continue on with this stuff. That's why I say, is the war real and the wag the dog story taking place simultaneously? Yeah, I think so. But that's why I'm concerned and stuff because we're not seeing the full picture. We're not getting the full picture. Trump said the strike in question occurred days ago. 4 or 5 planes had virtually no damage. Trump accused the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal of wanting the U.S. to lose the war. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal in particular, and other low-life papers and media actually want to lose the war. Yes, I do. I think they're anti-Trump. They want us to lose the war. They're sick son of a bitch, twisted bastards. They want the Democrats to win in November. And any program that promotes that type of propaganda is saying, I'm not voting. Don't go to your local precincts. Don't vote in November. If they are saying to you, you should automatically what? Unsubscribe. Do not follow these people. They are scumbags. Regardless of how you feel about both wings of the party, this is what we have. All right? And if you want change, you have to vote for it. That's our right. That's our number one right. And I believe that if you give that up and you allow these types of people, influencers on X, to tell you otherwise, you're completely batshit crazy. Carr followed up his own message directly to the media. He wrote, broadcasters are running hoaxes and new distortions known as fake news have a chance now to correct course before their license renewals come up. The law is clear. Broadcasters must operate in public interest, and they will lose their license if they do not. And frankly, changing course is in their own best interest or business interest, since trust in legacy media has now fallen to an all-time low of just 9%. Wow. And the ratings are disastrous. The American people have subsidized broadcasters to the tune of billions of dollars, providing free access to the nation's airwaves. Carr declares it's time for a change in the Post. And I'll leave it at that. I know it's a little bit long. I want to hear Thomas's take. But you know what? I'm also tired of seeing vax ads and not just that, anything from pharmaceutical companies and all the things that are propagating a narrative that you should not be watching or seeing. I mean, overall, I'm tired of the media in general. I don't watch it. I've given up. I used to watch a little bit of Rav, but I found that how they haven't reeled in Bannon. Now he's going to CPAC. He's in the actual files. He's gotten the pass. It seems like everything is just bounced off him like bullets, and he's gotten a pass. No one's made comments outside of the administration regarding him. Whether or not you want to say that he should be in some way excoriated, it's, and then you got Pastor Paula Weiss or Paula White, who is just batshit crazy, kicking off Catholics. You have to toe a line of Christian Zionism. I'm done with that. When did we have to follow suit in this measure? And so, yeah, maybe Trump is just pushing these people out, let them do their things for them to be exposed. And then you're the people decide about how you view this, Tom.
Yeah, I agree. I just think that when it comes to these lies over and over, and then they only have 9% viewership, doesn't that make total sense? Like, I just cannot trust anything that left-wing media says. We all know that, but like, they are a dying breed. And why hasn't President Trump taken some of that money and just dumped it into a channel and just put it online? Not even online, but just put it on cable news. Why not just do that?
Yeah.
I guess because the internet's hot. I guess that's what it is. I do have to go here in a few minutes.
No, that's fine. I mean, I want to hear your thoughts, and it's good to come on. I know your time was limited, and I appreciate you coming on. I mean, look, overall, I get what you're saying and stuff. I really do. I get what you're saying, and we have the similar fashion stuff. And when comedians speak and stuff, a lot of it is just humor. Some could be dark, some could be not dark.
Sarcasm.
Yeah,
a lot of it's sarcasm.
Yeah, that's the way I take a lot.
Which I love.
I don't think Theo, as a comedian, as a lot of people saying he is. Is he truly a comedian, or I don't know?
He started off at the Comedy Store in L.A.
Oh, I didn't know that. See,
I
don't
New
know.
Orleans, and then went there, and then a lot of people say that his stand-up is not good at all anymore, and he's better off an interviewer, which I totally agree.
Yeah,
when he brings somebody on, just regular day people, whether it's a NYPD or a garbage guy, or or sanitation worker or a teacher, those are great podcasts. I love watching those. I think they're fantastic, and he does a great job. His stand-up, not so much, but he's through and through a stand-up for sure.
No, I think overall, his point. I think his point was just enunciated about how serious he was about this. I didn't find any humor in what he was talking about. I think he's dead serious about.
No, there was no humor in that.
Yeah, he's dead serious about it, because I'm dead serious about freedom of speech. And I know there are people with big name accounts that are on this platform, Pilled, Rumble, whatever, would disagree with any kind of talk and say this is a psyop. We should not discuss this. We should move along and stuff. I'm balancing it all out. I'm giving you a variety of different things, not telling you what to think and how to think. That's your job, okay? But I'm telling you where all the check marks or check boxes that you're going to be put into if you don't think a certain way. That's what I was pointing out, and I hope everybody can see that. I'll let Thomas go, but I want to thank you for coming back. Let everybody know where you are when you're coming back.
Yeah, I'll be back. I totally thank you for having me on. Everybody hanging out here today. 80 people over here on Pilled. It's good to see everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with Freddie Colton. And that'll be at 4 p.m. on Pilled, Rumble, and on YouTube. I'll drop the links tomorrow, probably around 12:30, 1 p.m. Bad storms in the southeast tomorrow. Everyone be careful. Be on the lookout. Bad storms coming tomorrow. So just understand that. And Tuesdays with Brett Collins on Rumble, Pilled, and on BoozTube. So go over there at True Reporting. Just go into YouTube, type in TRU Reporting, and you'll find us on all platforms. So make sure you hit the like button and all that stuff for Brett. And love you guys very much, and I appreciate you, Brett, having me on, man.
Yeah, it's always good. It's so weird for you to come on. I mean, you've been on a couple of times, but it always is. I mean, I don't think people understand. I've been doing shows with Thomas for a very long time. So
very long time.
When he comes on, and I've only had the show for 2 years. And I just think maybe a little bit longer, maybe 2 years after I left Badlands. So I started the show. So I think in some way when you look at it, and so every time I have him come on, it's just so weird asking him the questions, getting his point of view.
So much easier.
He's like, that's why when I'm on Tuesday and stuff, I'm like, don't worry, bro, I got this. I'm like, I'll take care of this. No, but because I can't shut the fuck up. I'm a tute de gek, which is Italian for big mouth. He never shuts the fuck up. But the point of this is have him on. It's just I have to hold back from snickering because I laugh. I'm like, he's on the show, and it's good to see him here. And he's speaking, he's talking, it's like
it's nice.
It's nice. It's nice. It's good to have you.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for having me on, and you'll be on Tuesdays.
Yeah,
every Tuesdays at 4 p.m. That's when we go live. I know it's only been a Monday, Tuesday show that will continue to grow. Lot of still some stuff in my family going on. My dad is definitely in hospice right now, probably about 60 days away from passing. So not to bring this thing to a screeching halt, But if any of you
Well, no, you got to do what you got to
imagine,
do with the family. I mean, you have to. I mean, your time is split. You got to focus on what you need to do. I get it.
yeah.
I know.
We love everybody out there. Thank you, Trump One. We love you two together. Well, I love doing the show, and I love when Brett comes on. And yeah, it's very nice. I wrote down Patriot drummer. I'm gonna get you back on Pilled. I don't know why you got kicked off.
Yeah, I see some
But
new
I'll bring
names
it
here.
back
War
on.
Eagle. Everybody's here because of you. I see a lot of people. New names because of you. War Eagle, Patriot drummer. I know
Yeah.
Boneless Chicken. What's going on? Yeah.
Boneless Chicken's the beast.
Yeah.
I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Okay.
with Freddie Colton. We love you guys very much. Thank you, Brad, for having me on.
You're
Patriot
welcome.
drummer, I'll get you back on Pilled, okay? Thank you, brother. And I will I'll probably talk to you, before Tuesday.
Okay. Have a good night, man. Be
All right,
well.
doggy.
All right. Ciao.
See ya. Bye, everybody. Peace.
Well, that was Thomas from True Reporting. That's good that he comes on the show. It's fantastic. I love when he comes on the show. It's just so weird that he comes on the show and I see him and stuff because we used to do so many shows, whether it's Badlands, his show before this, and then I started this 2 years ago, and it's just crazy. It's just so crazy. So when you see him and it comes full circle, you kind of get like, wow, it's just awesome in some way. Yep. Green Eye people. Thanks, Thomas. Yep. Everybody's thanking Thomas. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill, comments, questions, or concerns. You can help out through the platform. buymeacoffee.com/wearerise. You know what to do over here on Rumble. Okay. So I dropped the links again. If you want to call in, it's just me now. We're going to go on for a little bit longer, and then I'll end the show. So I just want to see what your thoughts are. I know, I think it was it War Eagle who put that? Was that you, War Eagle, that put it out about we were talking about something? Well, Brian Cates, I have it in my thing, but I'm not covering that tonight. But Brian Cates put something out regarding, I think he's been ahead of the curve in some way about certain things about people going to be exposed, this, that, the other thing. I don't think he's a Tucker fan at all, but he makes some interesting observations, and I'll give him that. He says, people who do not understand what she's talking about. Here we will spend the next week babbling about Trump is Israel's stooge. And, I agree. I don't like hearing that either because I don't believe that at all. I never bought into that knowledge. See, that's the problem with throwing around that terminology and stuff and saying it's the puppet, that there's a handler, Jared Kushner. I don't say those things. I don't even think about those things. I don't believe that at all. But again, that's what people are suggesting. That's what he's putting out. This is what he's talking about regarding this. Trump did a fantastic America First thing. That's not only. It's going to benefit our country, but the other country as well, except for the city of London. Screw those guys. And this was, I think, in some way, I'm not going to play all of it. It's like 11 minutes long. But what I'll say is that if you understand the Bank of London, the central bank collapsed. I think it collapsed in December. And they went through all this stuff. There was a right timing for a lot of things to happen monetarily with the oil. I think the idea that, people are using, why didn't you have a plan for the Strait of Hormuz? Of course they had a plan. I mean, do you think they didn't have a plan? Hell, these generals are what? They wake up in the morning and have a plan to take a shit, So I don't feel in some way that people are being fair, honest brokers about the reporting about this. I also think a lot of people are not truly, let's just say, rationalizing and understanding what this is about, or try to take the time out to listen and learn and maybe figure something out on your own without interjecting a certain state over there in the Middle East to flummox people, to just put the monkey in the wrench. I got it. We get it. We understand it. Listen to this.
Had bombed Karg Island, the heart of Iran's oil industry. He said the U.S. destroyed military targets, not infrastructure needed to keep the oil industry running. Here's his post. Moments ago, at my direction, the United States Central Command executed one of the most powerful bombing raids in the history of the Middle East and totally obliterated every military target in Iran's crown jewel, Karg Island. For reasons of decency, I have chosen not to wipe out the oil infrastructure on the island. Notice what he didn't bomb. That's not instinct, that's a plan. This morning's press and social media are full of anonymous sources saying what we've heard all week long. Trump has no plan. He's acting on instinct only. Now there will be boots on the ground and out of control oil prices. The Wall Street Journal leads with Trump knew the risk of blocking the Strait of Hormuz, he went to war anyway. Their article warns of stagflation, a quagmire, catastrophic economic consequences, as if Trump didn't already know them. They're all wrong. Trump didn't start preparing for this war 2 weeks ago. His ultimate goal, and nobody in the press will discuss it, is the complete demolition of a 50-year financial empire built on oil, terrorism, and manufacturing crisis. The people screaming loudest that America is losing, they're the ones profiting from the old petrodollar economy that Donald Trump is methodically replacing. I'm Barbara Boyd, and I've tracked the imperial great game for decades, the way financial empires use.
So did you hear what she was saying? I mean, this is what it's about. It's reinstituting or breaking down the control, the Rothschild banks, the central banks, the Federal Reserve, understanding the control where it comes from, who profits from there, who profits off the oil. You have to consider that a lot of this stuff that I think a lot of people are just not really getting through the minutia of understanding, well, why are we hitting them? Like, yes, there's a whole litany of reasons why we hit them. All right. I mean, they've been hitting us for decades. Okay. So obviously we're not going to like just turn a blind eye and think that we're not going to have an eye for an eye. Of course, that was always going to happen. President Trump tells you an eye for an eye was always coming. All right. Whether it's for these people or for many other people. A boneless chicken at We Arise. What are the odds Barbara here is a closet Tyrannosaurus? I don't know. I don't know. Who's over here who said this? James, my question is Bibby actually gone? I don't know, but I'll cover a little bit about that. I'll go through it rather quickly tonight. I mean, I'll get through it. If you want to come on, I already dropped the link so you can if you want to discuss things. But let me get through a couple other things, and we'll get to BB and stuff. I had a couple more things, but I think I'm just going to move past it because I don't want to belabor the subject or the opinion and stuff about a lot of things. Actually, I wanted to show this to Thomas, but I think in some way, maybe I'll share this with you. And, you tell me what you think about this. I mean, Chanel Rion goes off. She calls the Beijing Bannon crowd share the same positions on Israel and Iran against Trump. Wow. In less than a year, the anti-Israel Tucker Carlson Bannon crew have sided against Trump with the China's Middle East positions at every turn. So we're starting to see a lot of different groups of people come out of the woodwork and point fingers and blame people now for partaking in this subterfuge, okay? And that's really what it is, in the seditious behavior behind the scenes. And, I look at the war room. He's lost all credibility, Bannon, and I think a lot of that crowd, I don't even know what to make of them anymore. I mean, I really don't know what to make about all these people in some way. And I think that a lot of people, you're about to see a lot of people go down for what they were doing behind the scenes. I think so. I do. And it is what it is. I mean, I don't think anybody should be like, you should take a step back and say, you know what, let them fall on their own and don't pom-pom anything. Don't hold certain people to a higher accord than others. It could be a group of people that are completely and collectively working against the administration and President Trump. And then there are other people that could be COINTELPRO. I mean, you could think that Tucker Carlson is being used as a COINTELPRO in reverse and propagating a narrative that someone like Mossad agent, supposedly, allegedly, purportedly, that she is, she likes to call herself an intelligence broker, Larry Loomer, interloper Loomer. I mean, so when you consider all these different things and all these facets, I'm not really shocked anymore about all these people that are just popping up, that are propagandists, that have undercut this administration in some way. I mean, it's sad in some way. I think it's a good revelation that we can finally get past a world of like bullshit. Because I'm so sick and tired of it. You can't trust this person, can't trust this. And I'm also tired of being the labels. I don't, that's why I'm saying no matter what you think and believe, make sure you're critically thinking and make sure your voice is heard. No matter where you stand, no matter about anything. I think it's just garbage to sit back and on your laurels and say, okay, I'm part of this group or I'm part of that group. Really? I mean, when you were in high school, how many cliques were you part of? I bet you a lot of them, I wasn't part of none. Okay. I wasn't part of this team or that team. I was part of my team. I did things with friends. You know what I'm saying? But we did it honestly and fair. And when you're a kid, you did things what you wanted to: surf, volleyball, bike, basketball, things like you did. I just think right now, the people that are making gobs of money here is what you need to really look at. Where are they getting this money from? Who's paying them? Why are they paying them? And then follow the trail. Let's play this.
Bannon even went so far as to say Trump. There are two losers today as Trump runs his victory lap in the Israel peace deal: China and the anti-Israel MAGA crowd. But when I'm done, you'll understand these two groups may well be one and the same. Just to recap, in case there's any confusion as to who the enemy is and who our friends are in this Israel-Hamas story, here's the Muslim Brotherhood in 1990, the group that has vowed to destroy both Israel and America.
We not want to melt into American society and disappear. We want to go into American society with Islamic ideals and revamp their thinking. We want to revamp them. We want to turn them into Muslim.
Look at Obama's inner circle. Valerie Jarrett, whose family...
It's what I said to you earlier. Thank you, Ricky Bobby, for the ship. Good to see you. You just missed Thomas, and I thank you for the ship. It's what I said earlier. I mean, have we been so focused on the Israeli argument that the distraction, the diversion of this, that the unconscious mind, the unthinking and habitual reaction to that state and their recognition to the United States and the parasitic relationship and all the other endeavors, have we forgot in some way to deal with the Muslim Brotherhood, deal with the Muslim problem we have, the Islamist problem that we have that are inside this country, that are outside this country? Yes, that do affect Israel as well, maybe affect other countries as well. Whereas a lot of the places in the Middle East behind the scenes are turning Christian. Yes, they're turning Christian. And I wonder why that is. Thank you, Ricky Bobby, for another ship. Been a while. Just gifted another ship, 2 ships. Thank you so much. All right, let me continue with this. Thank you so much.
Seem to be Muslim Brotherhood stakeholders. Ariane Tabatabai, who snuck her way into top positions inside the DoD only to be caught sneaking messages to the Iranians on ways to oppose Israel. To this day, these same figures are still floating around Washington. And this is why you have places like Dearborn, Michigan, subjecting its residents to 5 calls to prayer a day. There is one country besides the United States fighting all of this: Israel. In turn, there is not a country in the world that loves Trump and his America First movement more across political spectrums than Israel. Yet, the primary voices opposing Israel was not Muslim Brotherhood, not CNN, not an Arab nation. It was coming from here within the ranks amongst a group that calls itself MAGA. It's a crowd, you'll notice, in DC who doesn't really hang out with the Trump inner circle, but they do seem to talk to Politico, pretending to represent the MAGA mind. They are the anti-Israel crowd that seems to cling to Vice President Vance's circle, putting all their eggs in the basket that Vance will be president. But today was a devastating blow to that particular crowd. Why? Because Trump established in front of the world he is, again, the true voice of America First. And America First doesn't mean America with blinders on. So to whom?
Oh, how about that one? Not America with blinders on. So has this rash of increase to continually hype up, spin, infer, and push such subjective negative commentary about Israel is untoward, something that is just what I said, not absolute, but subjective. And it's just piecemeal on how people look at this? Or is this something much more? Is this a coordination of people that are attacking Israel because a lot of people, whether they're getting paid or not, see this state as something that it's not, or that it pretends to be? And so they're purposely going after that so it would wound President Trump. His numbers are up higher in the first 60 weeks as president. He's at 49.9. excuse me, 47.9, where Obama was at 47.5. All right. And you have this conflict, whatever, war, whatever going on. All right. And I think in some way, the problem is that people look at dual citizenship, as Darrell L says, a war eagle. Many people look at certain people that, that have loyalty to one country over another. They view that as seditious. It's inside our Congress and our Senate, inside government agencies in general. So I don't think that the conversation per se, as she is just alluding to, that it is just whimsical to suggest a group of people have gotten together and become an anti-Israel crowd because they're getting paid from not Israel, other countries. That's possible. It's plausible. It's likely. All right. And they're doing it for what? They're doing it for ratings. They're doing it for numbers. They're doing it to make money. Yeah. And it's also the fact is, as many other people like to point out, that rationally speaking, reasonably intelligent people with suggested commentary have a problem with them in general. And they see that this it's not a symbiotic relationship. So it's hard for people to really separate the conversation. And anytime there's a war and they're involved, well, it's hard to unlearn what you have learned. And the fact is, what is about 30 different states that have these anti-Semitic laws that are just basically going to chip away about your First Amendment rights for any critical suggestion. I mean, anything that you say that they want to interpret as, I think that's a problem. I think that, to me, is very problematic. So I see what she's saying. She may be right. There might be a collective group of people making money and also to undercut President Trump. Let's continue.
Does this anti-Israel MAGA crowd turn for spin comfort today? Normally, they would have to turn to CNN or MSNBC, but today, their greatest source of comfort was none other than Steve Bannon, who took the following spin to save face.
Bibi clearly was icy. This is a catastrophic defeat for the Israel First crowd.
Here's Bibi Netanyahu nominating Trump for the highest award his country can possibly give.
I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award. Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House.
Bannon even went so far as to say,
you have to consider Netanyahu said during Obama's years toward his middle to his end of his term, said he's the worst friend to Israel out of those years. Do you support President Obama and what he did with Iran, sending boatloads of money and pallets there? And God knows what else that was being done with the Muslim Brotherhood inside our country. So consider that when you think about this and objectively hear these points of view. Take it in, okay? But just understand is that he also said that the worst president this country, and that's why they were pushing Biden when he was in there in some way. He lauded Biden for winning the election, knowing full well it's stolen, but they were doing it out of the sake of their own good graces for their own protection, even though Biden and Harris released the floodgates of money that was being held back for them. Let's continue.
Trump and Netanyahu didn't shake hands. CNN and MSNBC provided a more honest assessment of what happened today than the Bannon war room. Let that sink in. Now, I respect Bannon, but not on this issue. I'm calling it out. As should others I know feel this way too, but they are somehow afraid. Don't know why. Here's what the war room crowd refuses to acknowledge. This peace deal Trump just brokered will go down in history, will go down in Trump's mind as one of his greatest accomplishments as president of the United States. And Bannon's sworn enemy, remember, Jared Kushner, was a huge part of making today's victory a reality. But Trump, the founding father of America First, knows America First includes the posture where the enemies of Israel are the enemies of America. And Trump has made it clear, America First does not mean what Marjorie Taylor Greene says it is. America First is not what Steve Bannon says it is. It's not what Candace Owens or Nick Fuentes says it is. President Trump has established that America First means renaming the Department of Defense the Department of War. America First means killing and eliminating all who threaten America First. Trump is making Europeans pay for their own endless wars. We'll see that. But when it comes to radical Islam, that is a war we will fight. And Palestine was the proxy agent for radical Islam in the world. So take note, who sides with Palestine in opposition to Israel?
It's an interesting take. It was an interesting take. I thought that she made some good points, and I like where she's going with this. I don't know if I can necessarily get behind everything, but I think she makes some really good takes, and I'm not going to question Max Dog over here, 115 on Rumble. I don't know when he is blaming his son-in-law and everyone but himself, but he said that the eye hit the oil, and he was not trying to. Nothing makes sense. Who is blaming whose son-in-law? You mean Kushner? Who is blaming him? That's what I want to know. I saw some good comments over here. The real evil networks of fake MAGA. Yep. Oh, they're all over the place. That's what I'm saying. And they're using, in some way, the Israeli argument to even divide us and conquer us further. So consider that all in one Christ, Jesus. He put an end to all previous noise, and all that are not in him are noise from the other side. All have equal chance to decide. Very good, Wood USA. I saw you, Surf Dog. Israel spends more money enabling immigrants coming to our country than any other country. Sad thing. It's our money, and they're using it. Yes, I agree with that 100%. Again, all good points. You have to examine things not just contextually. I mean, you have to put it all together and see what rains out. Like I said, the perception management that I discussed that is going on is just so massive and so pervasive that it's basically took MAGA as this big 10 and just carved us up in so many different categories. And a lot of people are just like myself are deeply frustrated that any wrong turn that I maneuver in or out, I'll be labeled such and such. And I find that offensive. I find that absolutely fucking disgusting. I just want to be clear about that. I absolutely find that disgusting in some way that someone would put me in a box and say, you're this or you're that and stuff like that. I don't know. I critically think as much as I can, and I keep my own opinions to the point. And, some are subjective, some are objective, but I don't sit there and hold back. I don't hold back because I'm worried or concerned that some people might find some things that I say that are, let's just say, rather unproductive. All right. And look, I mean, I support Trump. I love Trump. I'm fine with this war. I understand this. I get it. I'm just not going to be a blind loyalist. I'll support Trump all over and over, and I'll defend him everywhere else, especially against the media. But I mean, just don't tell me that you have the inside baseball skinny because you have access and supposedly secure comms. That's why I'm glad Dan Scavino put that out. Be careful about these people that like to say such and such source because they knew somebody within the administration because they were at the White House and they went to a barbecue at Mar-a-Lago. I don't want to fucking be a part of that. I don't want to hear that nonsense. But there are people that use that bona fides in some way to manipulate and saying, because I've been there, I've been close to the edge. I see this. They're no different. They're not getting do you think they're getting, oh yeah, they're sitting inside meetings with the Secretary of War and the Joint Chief of Staffs. I mean, come on. I just think it's just a load of bunk. And Laura Loomer, my God, the biggest fucking bullshit artist. I mean, what a bunch of fucking shit that she's prevailing at. Oh yeah, I talked to President Trump time. You probably do. I wouldn't doubt that she doesn't talk to him. But to suggest in some way you're the little rat. You're the little rat bastard that you are to go and run to Daddy Trump and say, ooh, this is who's been a bad boy, Daddy Trump. It's time for it to be spanked. Are you fucking kidding me? Spare me that. Max Dog, what's up? Brett, he had a press conference and he was blaming his son-in-law and friends, basically. Okay. You're saying Trump was there? I got to see that. I don't discount what you're saying. I didn't see what you're talking about to get context. So this was another thing I wanted to put out there. I saw this. This is part of tonight's show, Fake and Gay Apocalypse, when Kayfabe dies and shitposts rule. And I hope you all understand what I mean by all this stuff. This is why I'm putting out these eventual things, and I'll get to the last part of the BB thing. Here's something. The smoking gun leak DOJ wiretap that came out, which wasn't her, all right? And people are running with this, trying to make money, profit. Their views are out of control. I wasn't even paying attention to this until it started to get such blowing up. And then I was starting reading this and stuff like that. And the one point is, this was so long ago that if you look at her age, meaning Erica Kirk, she would have been what, 13, 14? So you tell me she was recruiting girls at that age, talking to Epstein when he was walking in and out of jail on the weekends? I don't know. For some, and then other people that are defending this, honestly, because they're defending Candace, and I don't think they can defend this. I think that people are just trying to make money off this, and it's sad.
A new narrative regarding Erica Kirk at 16 years old recruiting her classmates to do massages for Jeffrey Epstein. And I wouldn't be addressing this idiotic rumor and narrative if it wasn't for 10 million views on this post and people that I know actually buying into this. I'm going to quickly debunk this entire narrative in less than a minute. So this tweet by Project Constitution, which was retweeted by Ian Carroll, which is why it has 10 million views, said that there's a smoking gun, leaked DOJ wiretap audio captures Erica Kirk scheduling underage girls for Epstein. And Ian watched this video and said, holy crap, this sounds just like Erica Kirk, so it must be Erica. This is the funniest part. If you're going to say that this is a leaked audio file, you probably shouldn't attach the official DOJ, official government website to that audio file. All it takes is just 1 minute to find out who's actually speaking on that audio file, and that name is Haley Robson. Haley was 16 years old, living in Florida at the time that Epstein contacted her and forced her to start to recruit her classmates in order to come over and do you know what. Haley has spoken about this numerous times, whether on Capitol Hill, on CNN, and obviously when your tweet goes viral, you have to clarify that this post is my personal opinion and my interpretation. And that doesn't matter because the original narrative is already set. You have major conspiracy theorist Ian Carroll already propagating that narrative, and they're not going to stop. I know you think that this is stupid, but the reality is that millions of people are actually buying into something that has zero objective evidence for.
That's right. And again, that's what part of the show was that I'm trying to show you. Thank you, Wood USA, for the 717 gold pills. Need more gold pill love. Support the stream. Let's effing go. Thank you so much for being here. I think that's part of the fake and gay apocalypse. As everything is crumbling, you're starting to see how people are picking apart narratives that don't make sense. In fact, not only they don't make sense, they're bullshit. And so again, when the Kayfabe dies, you got shit posts that rule. And that's the point. That's the interpretation we're getting. And the debunking happens. I'll give you another shit post. Look at this. All right. This is more Kayfabe, but I think really highlights what I was critical of on Friday with Marshall, what I was critical of on Wednesday regarding Paula Weiss, as someone told me that's her real name and not Paula White. I mean, and this whole thing about Christian, what am I thinking of? Zionism, that is basically these fear porn tropes of anti-Semitism that are going back and, you know, branding people, unfortunately and disgustingly, unjustifiably, slanderously, all right, attacking people. I think it's sad. Let's watch this. You need to watch this documentary about the scandalous, corrupt, fraudulent Zionist pastor. Yeah, I've seen her. Her name's Paula White Kane. Someone told me it's Paula Weiss. When I was looking up, it said Paula Weiss. I thought I knew a lot about the snake, but holy shit, there's a documentary in here. I might share this. Let me just play this a little bit.
Cleaning place becomes holy.
Listen to this stuff.
I have every right and authority to declare the White House as holy ground because I was standing there, and where I stand is holy.
It was about an assignment to say no to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't do that.
You need to send in $3,500. You need to send in $35,000. You need to send in that $100,000 check. If you do not write that PO box and you do not call that toll-free number and you do not become a ministry of sustainer, you will never see sustainment in your life, and your dream will die. Your call will die.
What the fuck is that?
In a world of faith and flashy lights, mega churches and their pastors sometimes come with mega drama. None quite encapsulate that like Pastor Paula White. In her world, marital affairs, bankrupting churches, and using church money to pay for plastic surgery aren't unheard of. As a young girl who lived in a trailer and became a young married mother, she grew up to become a preacher. After an affair with the associate pastor of her church, and not before they ran off together. Regardless, it seemed Pastor Paula was destined for the stage. She led a congregation of 22,000 members, became a multimillionaire, hosted a Christian TV show, owned a private jet, and an 8,000 square foot beachfront home. She also loved to preach to celebrities, one being Donald Trump, who she helped gain the evangelical vote in 2016. Gone were the days of grabbing women by the Pastor Paula made him shiny and new for the evangelical elite. And while you can polish a turd, you can't remove the stink. And a lingering stench of betrayal and greed has followed Paula her entire career and 3 marriages. But Paula won't stop believing, which is why she married a member of the band Journey and turned him into a pastor as well. This is the scandalous story of Pastor Paula White.
What's your thoughts about that? I saw some good commentary in here tonight. She's no Christian. Her and her husband push pornography on the parishioners. Wow. I try to avoid being a gully bull or a nincompoop, but I'm sure I've fallen a few times. A boneless chicken. Who was the other woman minister recently that had a similar history? You know what? I don't know. You know what? I try to avoid a lot of these people, not watch them on TV. I don't go to evangelical Circus Soleil churches. I believe that is an anathema. I think that is absolutely disgusting that they do this. They sell. They're selling your salvation. That's what they are. You say, pay me or you're not going to get. I mean, alms to the poor. And this goes back to like 15th century medieval stuff, 14th century garbage. You know, pay wages for your sin, and I'll bless you a couple of times, and I'll make sure that your repentance will bring you forth into God's bosom. Yeah, that only works with Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, not with these scam artists and anybody taking money. Yep, Swaggart. Yep. Was it Tammy Lee? Is that the other one? Yeah, absolutely. It's disgusting. Was Betty White's last name really White? Ergo, my point exactly. Yes, hello, Mom. That's a good point. I get it. I understand. I understand completely. I just, Joyce Myers too. There you go. That's a good one. I remember that. I know that name. If you got more, put it in the chat. We're almost done. Let's play one more. I think I have. Let's see. What's it? Oh, no, I want to do the actual. Yeah. So James on YouTube was asking about this. I'll play this. Yeah. So this whole BB thing that's out of control we covered the other day briefly. He had a video, 6 fingers. It was AI, all this stuff. So the memes are going around all over the place. Comes from Lord Bebo. The internet might right now, and this is what's taking place. You'll see a lot of people are just losing their minds over this.
But I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real. And but I am telling you.
Yeah, he came out. I guess he came out, or something came out. An AI video came out. Grabbing coffee, speaking Hebrew, talking to whatever. He's like, I got 5 fingers, and it's not fake. And then someone's pointing out about the coffee and saying this video is fake. The coffee should have spilled. I don't know. You know what? I look at these things again. I said, this is the whole point when I'm saying the Kayfabe is dying. We see right through it. And now it's just shit posting. It's shit posting and mocking. And that's what it is. And that's all you could do is just make fun of it. You don't know one way or another if he's dead or not. You don't know half these people are wearing masks, that they pretend to be who they are. We all know about Biden. I mean, it was in the Epstein files. I mean, clearly that wasn't Biden. I mean, especially 7-foot Biden. I mean, come on. So overall, it's just more, this is more comedy based when you really think about it. I'm actually to the point where I just don't care anymore. And I think the shit post will increase because people are starting to see they're had enough of it. They can no longer continue with the bullshit. And when you're selling your audience that much amount of bullshit, not giving them opportunity to really critically think, give them points of view, multiple viewpoints, to let them determine and figure out, don't tell them one way or another. It's like the same people that if I'm not voting and I suggest you shouldn't vote, who fucking talks like that? That's the worst thing you could say to anybody on there as an influencer, as a podcast and stuff like that. All right. You can make arguments, positions, suppositions. You give different people to vote and stuff. The argument about Cornyn and Paxton, like I said last week, and I was like, perfectly done. Don't give anybody a pat on the back. Don't give them a hat tip. Don't give them, say, I'm supporting this guy or that. Let MAGA sort it out. I think it's fantastic. You know Paxton's going to win. Without the endorsement of Trump, Cornyn's not going to make it. And, a lot of people were pushing back about that, saying, well, he's going to endorse Cornyn just so he could beat Tellerico, the gay preacher, and it has to be done in some way. You don't think Paxton could beat the gay preacher in some way? You don't think so? I mean, come on. Let's see what happens when he faces Cornyn again. All right, so this might be our last thing of the night. I thought this was funny. Good example about Florida. I actually have two things about Florida. But landlords are selling property taxes up to 40% in some buildings. Market rate tenants are eating the difference. Meanwhile, she's on water in Tampa. 2 beds, 2 baths, no sirens, no jets. This is funny. I thought this was really cute. So check this out.
Living in New York? Nothing, because I'm in Florida on the water. New Yorkers love to talk shit and then move here 10 years later. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And I'm sorry, did I mention it's on the water? Shh, do you guys hear that? That's what a city sounds like without police sirens. New Yorkers are like, well, you guys have hurricanes. And you guys have the jets, which have caused much more damage. You know your city ain't when all you have to brag about is the bagels. I think when New Yorkers move here, they play the ambient sounds of street fights to fall asleep at night. My favorite line is, I'm from the Bronx. What am I doing? Why am I doing Trump? Yo, I'm from the Bronx. I'm like, yes, I am also from a shitty place. I'm doing Trump again, and I don't know how to make it stop. As my great-grandmother from Queens used to say, go scratch your ass with a broken milk bottle. Imagine this and not having to hear, forget about it. What are you going to do? I lost my virginity to Frank Sinatra on a boat just like this. It wasn't Sinatra himself. He was playing while it was to Giuseppe Caruso, who never called me back, that filthy piece of shit. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm going to have an aneurysm. That's what I'm going to do. Florida. This is funny as shit. I got to get this right. Florida. Share this with someone who thinks New York is better than Florida. Don't even get me started on New Jersey. I am going to get absolute kicked out of me if I go to New York.
Now that was funny. That was really fucking funny. Yeah, that was really good. I hope you enjoyed that. I mean, that's funny. That's because I live in Tampa and it's Florida. Yep, funny shit. I got one more. This is another guy who moved from Canada to Florida, and he's wrecking somebody who left Canada. Another guy who's leaving America to live in Canada. This is absolutely fucking awesome. And he points everything out about how bad it is. Points out how bad it is living in Canada and compared to what's taking place in America right now. And everybody should not take their eyes off of everything. Watch this.
Minutes away from the border to Canada as we flee the U.S.
Wait, what? You want to flee the United States for Canada? Well, from a Canadian who just moved out of Canada to America, Florida, let me show you what you're in for. First things first, you're going into a terrible economy. See, we just lost 84,000 jobs last month, the worst in years. And our unemployment rate just went up to 6.7%. Yours is at 4.4, historically low. Our housing prices compared to disposable income is off the charts. And the average house in the average city costs almost $1 million. And it looks like this. In your country, disposable income is actually more than house prices. Our GDP per capita is the worst in the G7. Yours is the best. Oh, and as of this month, we have the highest food inflation in the G7. But let's put that aside because I bet you love our prime minister, right? Yeah, the elitist investment banker that hasn't even lived in Canada for the past 10 years. Yeah, He's going to fix your problems. Don't worry about it. I know. You're here for the free healthcare, right? But here's the thing about the free healthcare. It doesn't really work. You won't be able to find a doctor. You're probably going to die in the emergency room. And they're going to take 54% of your income to taxes. Look, you're fleeing the strongest economy on earth. But hey, no problem. We traded spots. See, I had a business in Canada renovating properties. I bought and sold over 150 properties, had 13 employees. I shut the whole thing down and restarted it in the US and got my visa for my entire family legally to live in the US. Now we pay way lower taxes, make way more money because the economy is 100 times bigger. And instead of gray skies for 8 months a year and snowy weather, it's 300 plus days of amazing sunshine. But don't worry about it. You're gonna love Canada. You'll see.
That's great. That's fucking great. That's fantastic. Thank you, Darla. Who was it? Oh, I'm sorry. It was Laura Mom. That was funny what you said. Where are you? Oh, okay. I see what you say. Gifted the can. I only need one pill to be able to contribute. That was funny. Yeah, I mean that's just crazy. A lot of people that are bitching and moaning about gas and grocery prices, they don't seem to understand what's taking place north of the border. It's 3 times, maybe 4 times more expensive to live there than it is here, especially in Florida. And then, we bitch and moan about $4 gas or certain intervals that with high pricing and ranges. I know it's all relative. I get it in some way, but I think we should temper our expectations. I don't necessarily think this is going to go on too long. I know there are many articles that are out there that are pushing a narrative that, hey, look, it can only get worse, and if it gets worse, then it's going to take longer to get better. I don't buy into that now. Attitude per se. I don't. And I think in some way, we're just going to have to see how this plays out. We're really going to have to see this play out. And I'm not really sure what the fall it's going to be in some way. I do have high hopes of what I see about Cuba and other areas that are going to happen. So the proliferation of Cuba and many other things will take place. We just got to be patient. You're in it for this long. I mean, you shouldn't throw in the towel now and give up. I mean, what else do you have? What else do you think you have? Do you think it was better under Biden? I mean, or Obama? I mean, come on. You think it would have been better with Rotten Box Clinton? I mean, so you got to keep these things in perspective. And, don't be cajoled again by the influencer class that's out there that's trying to suck you into the categories of one thing or another. I mentioned 5. You can go back and watch a show with Thomas and I that you'll see what they were. So that's our show for tonight. I want to thank everybody over here on YouTube, what's going on, and on Rumble, and everybody over here that supported the platform on pill.net. Thank you so much. Rise Brigade, rise again. I really appreciate everybody being here. I will return tomorrow with Marshall Smith, and we'll see you then. Have a great Sunday evening. Be well, be safe, be smart. We'll see you soon. Good night. Ciao.